¿Qué tal, amiguitos? Bienvenidos al último capítulo de esta temporada de Rock Invasion Entrevistas. Esta cara de felicidad, pues ¿por qué va a ser? Porque tengo al otro lado a Infernal de Desaster, que ha tenido a bien pasarse por la nave. Vamos a hablar sobre el último trabajo de Desaster, que es una bomba absoluta, ese Charges Without Saints, y vamos a repasar un poquito también la historia del grupo, y además estoy segura de que alguna anécdota también va a caer, así que nada, vamos a saludarle. Hi Infernal, how are you doing?
Hola, I'm doing fine, thank you very much. I have my beer open right now, so we can start with the interview.
Let's do that.
Cheers.
Paused. Yeah, so it's a pleasure having you here. Desaster is one of my favorite bands. The listeners know that. I've been talking about you guys like forever, since the very first season of the show.
Gracias.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of seeing you guys live both in Spain and Germany. In Germany, it was in Oberhausen. That was at the 11th anniversary, I think, of Hellbangers. A great
Helvete Club,
yeah,
yes. Good
great
club, good people.
Fantastic.
Very sweaty place, very hot there.
Really hot. That show was in December, I think. But then I went back for another show in August. That was what you guys call a Hitzewelle. Oh my god. I thought
Sweat dropping from the ceiling. Yeah.
Exactly. It's so metal. There's nothing more metal than that. So, that is really, really cool having you. You guys have been already playing since '89, which is a long way. You have released a lot of stuff, not only albums, but splits, EPs, pretty much everything that one can release. Have you done that? So you guys have a new album. I have it here. I'm a CD person, so I have it on CD. This fucker is called Charges Without Saints. It's a fucking great album, I have to say. You guys never disappoint.
Thank you.
And today I would like to talk not only about this album, but also about a little bit history of the band and some other cool stuff related, of course, to Desaster and related to metal. So, Charges Without Saints came out like a month ago. That was in June. Pretty amazing album with some little different things. And I think the sound reminds me again of Tyrants of the Netherworld, something that I really like. It's not that I didn't like, for example, The Oath of an Errant Ritual. I love that album, but the sound this time is like, not so modern. So why did you choose that? Did you do that on purpose, or what exactly is behind this true sound on the new album?
Yes. It was really my plan to do it like this because I didn't like the sound of the two last albums that much, So I wanted to go back in time. I wanted to go more into the old school direction, and I ever liked the sound of the Tyrants of the Netherworld album. So you are right. I didn't want to copy it, but I wanted to go back in time. It was released in the year 2000 back then, and there is a lot of changing happening in the production, in the sound system. So today all albums sound the same because everybody is using the same equipment, the same computer programs to record albums, And back in time, that wasn't the way, that was really different. So every album sounded special, and so I wanted to go back and I wanted to make our new record sound really, really special. And I think we managed it. Some people will be surprised when they put on the CD or the record on the record player, because they are not used to sound like this nowadays, So perhaps first of all they will say, "Ooh, what's that? That's strange sound." But I think after one spin you will get used to it and you will love it because the sound is warm, it's natural, it has a lot of energy, but it's not too much overproduced, So that was really our aim, and I think we managed it.
Exactly. Yes, I've heard some people saying, "Wow, what's going on with the sound here?" And then I thought, hey, when did you start listening to Desaster? Because if you are like an old fan like me, it's typical Desaster. Yes, of course, with new stuff and with some experiments. We'll talk about those little experiments later, but it's 100% Desaster.
Thank you. That's of course that's normal because we can't change, we can only do what we do. We are Desaster, the name is the program. So we won't surprise the people with a progressive album, with technical details or something like that. We are playing just in the face, and that's our business, and we can't do anything else. So that's it.
Yeah, and speaking about these tiny experiments, I would like to talk a little bit about the outro. I really loved that outro. I wasn't expecting that kind of an outro to a Desaster album, but I really liked that tiny experiment. It was really cool.
Thank you very much. Perhaps you know that in the past we always had some outros with some medieval feeling, and this time we thought, we have done this so many times before. There's time for something new, and I had this undistorted guitar tunes in my under my table, and for the Churches album I thought perhaps we can try to do something like that. It sounds a little bit like old wave music, like The Cure. I was a big fan of The Cure when I was a little boy child with 11 years old. And I wanted to do something like that. And but the voice of our singer, that doesn't, of course, fit to this kind of music. So I asked him, can you sing a little bit different? And he did a little bit of whispering lyrics, and that was fitting very good to the sound, to the song. And we thought, hey, let's put it on the record. Why not? It's an experiment. Perhaps the people will like it. If not, okay, it's just an outro. They can leave it out and stop listening to the album after the last song. And it was funny that when I played this song to our old drummer, Tormentor, he hated this song. He said, "Wow, Infernal, what's that? That's not Desaster. That's shit. That's German. That's like Rammstein. That I hate that. Don't put it on the record." And I said, let's do it. And a lot of people like it. They are surprised by this outro. But I can say it's just an experiment. Don't fear that we go in this direction and play music like this on the 10th album. No.
Yeah, great. And then we have another experiment, but I have to say that I wasn't so surprised about that. I've read about that some people were like, "Oh, what are these guys doing here on Exile is Imminent?" But there was nothing that I was really surprised about. Like, I don't know. I don't think it was such a huge experiment like a lot of people said, like, "Oh my God, what is that?" I like it too. Maybe I'm getting old.
Like it? You like it because you are a Spanish girl, so you have the rhythm in your blood, like we do. So yeah, the beginning of Exile is Imminent is also a little bit of an experiment. It was a new rhythm we tried with the new drummer, and I think it fits very good. It's a little bit what's it called, a disco beat, like old 80s disco bands or something like that. But it fits to the morbid tune I play on the guitar, and so we tried it and we liked it, and I think it will make the people in the first row dance when we play this song live. The girls can shake their body, and it will be nice to watch from stage, and it's great.
Yeah, great. And then that's the first album with your new drummer, with Haunt, because Tormentor is not with you anymore. He's playing with Asphyx, I think. He's been playing with Sodom, and right now he's playing with Asphyx, right? And I think Haunt is a great fit.
Thank you very much. He got a lot of compliments for his playing. He's a really, really skilled drummer. He has a lot of talent and experience. He was playing in a professional pop band in Germany. It's called Jupiter Jones. I don't think the people abroad will know this band, but in Germany they had one hit and it's played in the radio every day, And so he really was into professional music for a while, but metal is in his blood, And so he quit the band. They do a reunion right now, but he said, "Oh, no interest anymore. I want to play noise with Desaster," And I really appreciate it, because with this pop band he could earn a real big amount of money, and he said, "No interest. I want to play hard stuff and play with Desaster." So that's a great guy. He has a real good character as well, and he contributes to our sound. That's really good. He immediately knows what to play to my riffs. He has studied our sound, our old songs, of course, to play them live. So he knows what our style is all about, and it's more important for him to play simple, fast drumming. He could play more technical stuff, but he said, no. And I appreciate that, It's like, I always say, it's like the attitude of Fenris from Dark Throne. Just listen to the first Dark Throne album. It was really technical death metal stuff. But after that, they stopped to do something like that and play just simple black metal. All the time, So that's great, They don't have to show what they can do, but they contribute to the sound, to the feeling, to the atmosphere. And that's what music should be all about.
I totally agree with that. And I think the guy is a really funny guy. I can tell that because of some really short videos that you uploaded because of the release of the album. That was so funny. So I think it's a good fit, and then the guy is a total character. So great.
Yes. We are still friends with Tormentor, our old drummer. So it was a hard decision to go separate ways. That was really hard for us because we were friends for so many years. But he had too many other bands. He played in Asphyx, then he joined as well, Sodom as well, and that was too much, and he moved away. It was not possible to rehearse together, and so we had to make this decision. It was hard, but okay, we are still friends. We exchange new songs, as I told you before. And it's always great fun when we meet and drink some beers together.
That's great to hear. That's really great to hear. And what can you tell me about the artwork? It's a little bit different from what you guys normally have as a cover artwork. So what can you tell me about these three little guys over here?
Yeah. This time we wanted to have a painting which is made from somebody for us exclusively. Perhaps you know that the last album, The Oath of an Iron Ritual, had a old painting of an old artist who painted it 200 years ago or something like that. And after the album came out, we realized that there were already 4 or 5 other bands, metal bands, who had used this cover before. That was, of course, not that good. And this time we decided, okay, we have to let somebody do this painting for us. So we gave him the title. We said, we have the album title, Churches Without Saints. Would be great to have a church. Would be great to have saints on the album, of course. So we gave him some points, and he just worked and step for step sent us his drawings, and it was great. And it was also great to see how this painting evolved, from one step to the other. We made some suggestions and had some more ideas, but at the end it was the painter's artwork, of course, and we are very satisfied by it. It's perhaps not the artwork the Desaster fans are used to. Perhaps it's a little bit modern kind of artwork, but I like it. I like it very much. It's perhaps not our best. For me, the Tyrants album cover and also the album is the best. Because it's really iconic, you will recognize it everywhere when you see this cover. But I like also the new one.
We have it here.
Yeah, you have the patch.
On the
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. Do you know the story about this painting?
That was my next question. Directly from a fan. That was a question that a fan sent. The fan is Danny from Zaragoza, so he wanted you to talk a little bit about that story. Yes, our old singer Occulto, he was visiting a castle at the River Rhine. We have a lot of castles here in Germany and at our region. And on this castle there was a poster, and the poster was saying there's a kind of middle-aged market next week. And this painting was on this poster, and he said, "Wow, that looks great." He looked at his sides and saw, "Oh, nobody is watching me," so he stole the poster from the castle, took it with him and showed it to us at the rehearsal room. We said, "Wow, that looks great," and it's perhaps really fitting to the new album title, which was back then Tyrants of the Netherworld. And yeah, that's the history. That's pretty amazing. Yeah, and talking about amazing stuff, I would like to talk a little bit, going back to Churches Without Saints. What can you tell me about Hellputa? Because I know there's something to do with Spain and with some other countries. I know the story, but I would like you to tell me a little bit about that.
I explain it to you. Well, we played in Spain, and there was one band. I don't know the name of the band, but the singer, he was really in every announcement before the songs. He was saying something with puta, puta all the time, and puta here, puta there, and then there came Hellputa. He was talking something in Spanish about a Hellputa, whatever it may be like, I don't know. And we were looking at each other. Hellputa, that sounds great, Hellputa. And I wrote it down at my mobile phone, and so that I don't forget this great song title. And I said, I will make a song about the Hellputa. And I wrote a song. I did also the lyrics for this song, and there's one version with my voice on it. You will be laughing if you could hear this one, but so that's the history about the Hellputa.
Mm-hmm. Okay, because the thing is that here in Spain, one of your albums is commonly known as Ángel Puta, Angel Whore. Here in Spain is Ángel Puta. Ángel is Engel. Angel,
yes.
and then whore puta. Then,
Yeah, this
most
is the hell
likely it had something to do with what the guy was screaming that night.
That might be possible. And of course, Hellputer is the sister of the angel whore, of the Angelputer.
It's always everything stays in family. That's so cool.
Great incest family.
That's awesome. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the history of the band. You guys released some demos prior to A Touch of Medieval Darkness back in '96. A great album, but I think, well, that was a very fantastic point to start. But I think that maybe with the Stormbringer EP or even with Hellfire's Dominion, you found like your way and what you really wanted to do, right? What do you think about that?
That's totally right. On the first album, we were still a lot influenced by all the newer black metal bands. Of course, we were very much into bands like the aforementioned Dark Throne, but also Immortal, Emperor, and I won't say we copied them, but we were really heavily influenced by them. Also, if you listen to the singing on the first album, it was still more black metal voice, like this kind of singing, and it was really with the Stormbringer mini album when we recognize everybody's doing Norwegian black metal nowadays, and we have to separate from that. Also, that was the time when a lot of bands used keyboards, female vocals, nothing against females, but female vocals in black metal was such a trendy thing, like bands like Cradle of Filth and shit like that. So that was not our way, and we didn't want to be mixed up with bands like this. So we said, let's go back in time. Our roots are in thrash metal, in German thrash metal, in American speed and thrash metal as well. So let's do a little switch over. So we had on the Stormbringer EP, we had a Creator cover, and we really had more thrash metal influences. So this was the point when we defined our music style as traditional black metal. So that's our name for our noise.
That's great. And speaking about thrash metal, I mean German thrash metal, German speed metal, you've had a lot of cool guests over the years. I can think about Lemmy from Violent Force, what a great band. Mile Petrozza, Toto Berman from Living Death, Missy from Protector. Who else? Mark Greve, Bloomy from Metal Inquisitor, and then you have another guests such as Vanessa Goebbels from Pinnacle or Proscriptor McGovern. What can you tell me about those cool guests? Because, wow, those are some fucking amazing guests.
Yes. We had to pay them a lot of money that they appear on the Desaster album. No, it's really, of course, these guests were invited by us because we have a lot of respect for their music, and so it was great that they said yes, we want to play on a Desaster album, and so we are very proud about that, and there are other guys in the scene. I won't tell you names, but they really wanted money for appearing on our album. There was one famous guitarist of a German thrash metal band. He wanted to get paid by second. He should play a solo, and he wanted to be paid, I think, 50 euros per second or something like that. And we said, let me think about it. No. So that was no option, But these guys, even of Creator, he's a famous guy. He came together to the studio because back then it was not possible to exchange files via the internet. He had to come to the studio, and record his voice on his own. And he hired a car because he hadn't a car in that time. He hired a car on his own. He paid for the car, came to the studio together with Götz from the Death Forever magazine, and was singing the song. And after that we said, we give you money for the car. You hired the car, you paid the petrol. But he said, no, I don't want. And it was so fucking great. He's so a great guy. And we said, thank you very much. Yeah, really, really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it must be pretty amazing. Like, I'm a lot into German thrash metal. And wow, it must be pretty amazing having people from Violent Force, from Living Death, from Protector. It must be fucking amazing. As a fan, as a musician, as everything. Yeah.
It was really cool. I remember when the guy of Living Death, when Toto came to the studio, our old singer Occulto was smoking a cigarette, and he was opening the door when the bell rang. He had the cigarette in his mouth, and when Toto was really standing before the door because it was not sure if he will appear or if he will not appear, and when he saw Toto, the cigarette fell out of his mouth. He was looking like that, and we said, "Oh, great, Toto, you are there!" And of course, he had to sign all our Living Death albums, and it was really cool. It was really great.
That's awesome. Yeah. And then, speaking a little bit about the Desaster sound, I think you taught yourself how to play guitar.
Yes, that's true. I must say, Mr. James Hetfield was my teacher. I learned to play guitar back in the days by playing Metallica songs. I had a songbook of Kill 'Em All, and I had the tabulars, the tabs of the songs, and that's how I learned how to play the guitar. So I never had a real teacher. So my technique is very strange. I have another band called Moon Towers, and
Yes.
there the singer, he is normally playing in a blues band, and he's a very skilled guitarist, and he always says, Infernal, I don't know how you play, what you play, but it sounds good. It's cool.
Yeah. That's pretty nice. And there's something that I really respect about you guys. And I've already said that about some other bands like Necrophobic, for example. And what I really respect about you guys is that you have your own sound, but that doesn't mean repeating yourselves over and over and over. So on the new album, you listen to it and it's Desaster, but it's new stuff with different melodies and different things, but still it's your very own sound. And I think that is really difficult. It's very easy when you guys have released maybe 2 or 3 albums, but you guys have released 9 albums, a lot of splits, EPs, singles, pretty much everything that, as I said before, pretty much everything that one could release. So how do you guys manage to have that sound without repeating yourselves?
Yeah, and of course, we repeat ourselves from time to time. We have some trademarks we do on every album. But yes, I think we managed, especially the new album, to sound fresh. I think Hont, the new drummer, he has some what is it called, effect on this thing, because he brings in some new elements, some freshness, of course. But yeah, I think the secret is that we are not a professional band. If we would be on a professional level, if we would release an album every second year, if we go on tour every year for months, that would kill the spirit. And we have managed to keep the spirit, and that's the most important thing. If there is no feeling, if there's no atmosphere, no spirit, you can't play good music.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, because you don't like making long tours. I think the longest tour you've ever made were like 25 days or something like that. And you weren't very happy about that, I think.
We were really exhausted. I was really ill at the end of the tour, but had to play some more shows. And I remember we played in our region, and I was so exhausted and really feeling sick that I couldn't hardly play. You know, I had a high temperature, and I was standing there on stage. I think most of the time I was sitting on stage playing the guitar in a kind of really fever, and it was a pain in the ass. And after that tour, we recognized that that's not our way. You know, of course, we love music, we love playing live, but if you do it every day, it's like going to your job, you know, and that's not our aim. That's not our goal, you know. Every show should be something special, not only for the fans, but also for us. We want to enjoy ourselves. We want to have fun, and if you do it every day, it's routine, you know, and that's not our way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You guys have been celebrating your different anniversaries. On your 10th year, you released 10 years of Total Desaster. Then, later on, 20 years of Total Desaster. And a split with Sabbath covering each other. That was really cool. And then 2 years ago, because of the 30th anniversary, you released a 7-inch with Black Celebration, Congratulations from Satan on one side, and then Primordial Obscurity on the other side. And that song ended up on the new album. I think you guys had a party. I don't know if it was in Winingen, is that right? What can you tell me about the 30th anniversary party? I'm pretty sure there was a huge party.
Yeah, of course. A lot of drinking, excesses. Yeah, it was really cool. A lot of old friends appeared there. It was a small venue, so the tickets were sold out very fast. We couldn't invite anybody we know, but it was a cool party. The show, I really can't remember much about the show. But yeah. It was great, and also the single was a cool thing. It was the first time after our demo times that we do a self-financed product on our own. So I'm very proud about this little 7-inch single, and yeah, it already song of the new album. It was meant to be a kind of teaser. Appetizer for the forthcoming album, and the people liked it a lot.
Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorite songs on the new album. I really like that one.
Thank you.
And then there's another thing that could have been a total disaster or or a good thing, because of course we know that Occulto was the singer until 2001. And then came Satanic. And what I really like about him is that he has never tried to copy Occulto. He has his very own way of doing his thing. But I think it was a great fit too. And I think that wasn't easy necessarily. What can you tell me about that?
Yes, of course. It would be nonsense to find a singer who sounds or who tries to sound like the old singer. So it was clear for us that we have to find a different singer, you know. And it was really not that difficult, because it just took us 2 weeks until we found Satanic. We remembered a show we organized. It was an Asphyx show, and Satanic's old band, which is called Divine Genocide, opened for Asphyx. They played together with Warhammer in our hometown, and we organized, and we remembered this guy, and his appearance on stage, and of course his voice. And when Kulto left the band, I immediately thought about this guy. I searched for the demo tape in my chaos at home, and I found the Divine Genocide demo tape, and I listened to it and played it to Tormentor and said, Tormentor, and also Odin, just listen to this guy. I think he will fit to Desaster. And we invited him to come to the rehearsal room, and he did one into the microphone. One speaker broke. it was damaged because it was singing so aggressive and loud. And we were saying, okay, you have the job.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah. So you have just named Odin, which is the only one of you guys who wears corpse paint. But then I know that the guy is such a great and such a nice guy that, that is something that I really like about Desaster too. You guys are brutal on stage, but then you are such... exactly, with that face. But for example, when you play, I can see that Spielfreude, and then you guys are always such funny guys and such great people to talk to, and that is something that I really like. I like my extreme metal pretty extreme, but then I like having fun too, and Desaster is like pretty much the whole pack.
Yeah, thank you very much. I take this as a compliment. Of course, in the past we also try to be as evil as we can, but
yeah,
that's not our characters. We really like to enjoy ourselves. We want to have fun, but of course our music is serious and is of course about the dark sides of life. That's why we are called black metal, because we are singing about the bad things which are happening or which happened in the past, and but we don't go to the cellar to laugh. We like to laugh, and of course also on stage we enjoy ourselves. And of course I can't pretend that I'm another person. I'm the one I am, and I think that's what Venom taught us. That Desaster was heavily influenced by Venom. Venom was the reason why we were founded back in 1988, 1989. And also Venom, of course, they had a satanic image with the inverted crosses, but they were really funny guys. We like to watch the old interviews with them, or listen to the interviews. They put out some records with interviews on it, and they're always doing total chaos and were hitting the interviewer guy and stuff like that. And that we liked a lot, and we said, yeah, that's a cool way. That's great music with a really we always say evil intent, but of course we are the ones we are. We like to drink and have party.
That's really great. What else? Yes, I would like to ask you a little bit about this club, this Hellbangers club. What is going on right now with that? Because I'm pretty sure that, with the pandemic and everything, things have slowed down a little bit, but what can you tell me about that? Because I know there's some people who don't even know about what I'm talking about. What is Hellbangers, and what is going on with that right now?
Yeah, the Hellbangers is a heavy metal fan club. It's consisting of about 30 people of our region who have gathered together to bang together, to make party together, to celebrate heavy metal music. We organize concerts and some other events every year. Of course, yes, you are right. The pandemic calmed it all down a little bit. Not only the pandemic, also the age of the members. We are getting older, and people have family, they have children, so we can't drink that much like we did back in 1996 when the club was founded. Really, every weekend we met together, made great parties together, and back in the days we decided to give the whole shit a name, and so the Hellbangers were invented. And there are a lot of musicians in the club, people from Metal Inquisitor, Illum Adora. Back in the days, we had some guys from Witchburner in the club. A lot of bands, and then also Costa from Iron Pegasus Records is a club member. We had some fanzine writers, the famous Desecration of Virgin Zine. That was a great fanzine, only about South American bands, made by King Wolle, my good friend. And so you see, a very active club. On the paper, at the moment, there's not much happening. I hope that we can go on soon and start some parties and festivals again.
That's pretty amazing. Now I would like you to think about, because I mean, you have such a long history as a band, and I'm pretty sure you will have at least one funny story that you can share with us. I'm pretty sure it's not only one, but
a funny story, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. There are a lot of funny stories. I remember when we had a very, very cool roadie who was with us on several shows, and we played 2 times at the Czech Republic at the Open Hell Festival, and every time at the border we had some problems because of Duke. That's the name of our roadie. He was also the driver. He was driving our van, and when we crossed the border, he wanted to make some joke. The custom officer said, make down the window, and he said, I want a cheeseburger, a cola, some fries. And the custom said, get out of the car. We had to make like this, and that was real trouble. And we said, don't do it again. Next year or 2 years later, we came to the border. The custom said, please, down the window. And this time, Duke, our roadie, said, yes, we are here. We want to make a porno movie. And the custom said, get out of the car. Always the same shit with this crazy guy.
That's great. Yeah. As I said before, some people sent me some messages and asking me, if you're going to talk to Infernal, please tell him this and that. Another person who is the guy that brought you to Granada wanted to say hi, is really looking forward to seeing you play again here. And then the guys from Almeria wanted to know, when are you guys coming back to the south of Spain? I said that, well, maybe they should contact you, but maybe you can send them a message.
Yeah. Every time we are invited, we will come to Spain. We love your country. We love the wine, the sun, the woman, the women. And it's always great to play because you are so maniac. It's really great to play in Spain. And just write a message to us. I will make a contact to our booking agency, and of course we can play, and we will enjoy.
Awesome. That's awesome. I think we are pretty much at the end of our interview, and I would like to ask you a question that I normally ask. Sometimes I get surprises and sometimes I don't. I would like you to recommend some music that you have been listening to lately. It doesn't have to be like your favorite top 10 from... No, that doesn't... I don't think that's interesting. I would like you to recommend music that you have been listening to lately, and it can be whatever. Rock, metal, I don't know. I've only been surprised by Leather Leone, who said something about Justin Bieber, and I'm pretty sure she was serious because she even danced to that. So...
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I can also surprise you because I'm not just only listening to metal, of course, most of the time, but sometimes it's cool to discover other styles of music. And I just discovered Jewish music, which is called klezmer. And klezmer is sometimes it's very sad with the violin, with the flute, but then it's also great dance music, and you can dance like the Jews do, and that's great. I listen to it in my car and I put it on maximum volume, open the window, and the other car drivers, they are looking at me. He's crazy. So perhaps this is a surprise for you.
That's pretty amazing. I wasn't expecting that. That's
I'm
awesome.
open-minded. Back in the days, I was only listening to music harder than Slayer. Slayer was the borderline, and everything under that was exposures, shit music. But nowadays, I'm an old guy, and I go back in time. I discover old music, rock music, but also other styles. So that's great. I can recommend it to you. Don't be that narrow-minded.
I'm not.
Yeah, that's great.
That's awesome. And I think you guys have already some live dates, which is pretty good to hear. Seriously, like finally I think we are starting to see the light after this whole year and a half of total bullshit and no live gigs, pretty much nothing, no events. So I'm pretty happy about that. What's the very first gig you're going to play? Do you know that?
The very first gig I play with my other band, Moon Towers.
Oh, okay.
It's on the following weekend, the 17th of July. Mm-hmm. And a week later, it's the first Desaster show. We play at the festival in the south of Germany, where in a city where destruction come from, Weil am Rhein. Mm-hmm. It's the name of the city. And the festival was supposed to be a big festival of international bands, but that's not possible at the moment. So they reduced it, and only German bands are playing. It's called Baden in Blut, the festival. And we are looking forward to that. We are so hot to play the new songs live. You can imagine, of course. And yeah, it's so cool that we can return to the stage and play live and meet the fans, drink with them, and talk shit about old Slayer albums and stuff like that. I miss that so much, and I'm looking forward to that.
It's pretty amazing. So, yeah, I think that is all for today. It was fucking amazing having you here. I think you have told us a lot of cool things. Funny stories, history of the band, things about the new album. So I really, really hope to see you guys on the road again. Every time that I've seen you live, it's been a total amazing experience. So I'm really looking forward to that. I don't know if that will be here in Spain or in Germany, but I'm totally looking forward to that.
That's cool. We will drink beer or wine together and have fun, and yeah, perhaps one of this beer I make some.
Bitburger. Bit ein bit.
That's from our region. So I say cheers. Hope to meet you all soon. Wherever we will meet, we will have 1 or 10 beers together and celebrate heavy metal, because that's what's all about.
It is. I totally agree. So thanks a lot for your time and see you soon.
Thank you, gracias. Bye bye.